Many marriages struggle not because of love, but due to unspoken expectations. Are you playing an expectation game? You thought he'd be more romantic. She thought you'd be more understanding. Does that sound familiar? Hello, guys, this is Pastor Albert, and I am delighted as always to have you join me on this YouTube channel. If you are new here, do well to subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you'll be notified on subsequent videos. If you are a returning subscriber, I say thank you. Also, bear in mind to share the content to your friends and family and loved ones. On this channel, I create content about Christian living, family life, relationships, and marriages with a biblical perspective. Let's get into the video. So in this video, we're going to talk about the game of expectation. We are going to look at three main aspects of this subject. Where do the expectations come from, the danger of unspoken expectation, and how to manage expectations in marriage. So right on, many will ask that, where do these expectations come from? First of all, we all know that we come from different backgrounds. Our family line, the training we acquire in the course of our path, even before we enter a relationship or marriage. So these are one of the first places where our expectations are drawn on. So our family upbringing, past relationships, our culture, the media, everything we are exposed to, and even our own personal desires influence our expectations in relationship. The truth of the matter is that many expectations are assumed, but they are not communicated. And that is where we tend to have a lot of issues when it comes to our relationships. This leads me to the second aspect of this video, where we talk about the dangers of unspoken expectation. Bear in mind that when we are not clear in our communication of expectations, many a times it breeds trouble. Some of these include disappointments, resentments, and conflict. You see, when you have an expectation which is not communicated clearly, you would always walk on the path of assumption, where you would assume that your spouse or your partner should ideally know that this is what I want. You would be expecting, and then nothing will yield because probably you have not communicated effectively your thoughts and your intentions with respect to some of these expectations. So to avoid disappointment, resentment, and conflict, it is best that these expectations are spoken about. Sometimes we might provide hints to our partners for them to deduce and be able to meet up to these expectations, but that doesn't always work. So in order to have a beautiful one, it is best to speak about these expectations, because communication is key. And that will lead us to the third aspect on how to manage expectations in our marriages. When it comes to expectations within marriage, in the confines of marriage, bear in mind you are together as husband and wife that God has put together. I believe the first aspect of managing expectation is to always clarify and communicate. When you assume and you get a result out of it, there's a lot of excitement, but we are always in a learning curve in our marital journey and in our relationships. So it is best to clarify, stipulate, make clear, make the intentions known, make the expectations known by communicating effectively. You see, there is no communication when you speak and the other person doesn't understand. So it is best to save you all the stress, clarify and communicate. Let me ask you, what are your top 3 expectations in your relationship and marriage? Drop them in the comment sections. And have you shared with your partner yet? The second thing to note in managing expectations in marriage has to do with compromise and adjustment. You see, in the marital relationship, we have to have at the back of our minds that we are always learning. We need to be flexible enough to compromise sometimes. We need to be flexible enough to adjust. Everything is not in a straitjacket. If the expectation of your spouse is to do something that seems ridiculous, that seems to be out of place, what are your steps in adjusting? What are the measures you are taking to compromise to some extent to meet each other's needs? Some expectations may be unrealistic, that they need tweaking, they need adjustment, they need a lot of work for you to reach the goal that you want to be. Finally, in managing expectations in marriage and relationships, we need to grant our spouses and partners grace and growth. Why do I say that? Grace in the sense that we have to be gracious to one another. We do not need to belittle each other's expectations and let them look second to none. They are needs. They need to be met. Even though it might not be realistic to you at a time, probably in the course of your journey, you would have to quickly adjust. You would have to open up your mind, embrace a new thoughts, and then learn. Allow yourselves to grow through the relationship. And bear in mind that will yield a positive result. I remember when I got married, I am not a typical birthday person. So birthday wasn't something that I am used to. I mostly spend my birthdays alone in the room in a solemn state reflecting on my life. But my spouse had a different perspective of birthday based on how she was brought up. Definitely there needs to be a cake cutting. Definitely there needs to be a photo shoot. And I was new to this. But what did I do? I opened myself to this idea, granting her grace, following along. And now I am a happy man in my marriage. And I am also enjoying some of these perks that comes with birthdays. So we always have to give ourselves the opportunity to grow and learn from one another. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 9 says that two are better than one. I believe that two are only better than one when they walk in unity, when they walk in clarity and communication, when they are able to adjust and compromise to one another, when they are able to grant each other grace and grow together in one. So in being one, let us bear these in mind. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Are you living a life of unrealistic expectation, or are you living a life that you have given your spouse grace, that you have given your spouse clarity in communication, in adjusting to one another? Let me know your comments in the comment section. Thank you for joining me. If you have enjoyed this video, do well to like, subscribe, and share. Turn on the post notification. God bless you. Shalom to you and your family. Bye-bye for now.